In the bustling center of the ancient Vijayanagara Empire, a master sculptor named Virabhadra spent his days working with hammer, chisel, and fire. He dedicated his entire life to his craft, known throughout the kingdom for turning raw metal into striking works of art. After months of secretive work, Virabhadra unveiled his masterpiece. He placed a solid golden statue of a celestial nymph right in the market square center. The visual impact was immediate. The morning sunlight hit the gold, creating a blinding, almost heavenly sparkle that forced everyone passing by to stop and stare in total wonder. This pristine, glowing figure quickly became the kingdom's crowning artistic achievement. The townspeople looked at it as a symbol of their empire's perfection, giving Virabhadra an immense sense of pride. But that pride evaporated exactly one day later. When the merchants and citizens returned to the square the very next morning, they were met with a shocking sight. The vibrant, heavenly gold was gone. The statue was completely covered in a flat, gray, dirty film, stripping away its brilliant shine overnight. Virabhadra fell to his knees in despair, convinced his life's work was ruined. Around him, the crowd's confusion rapidly escalated into full-blown panic. Whispers of dark magic, evil spells, and curses began to spread through the market. With no obvious physical explanation for the sudden decay, the square filled with talk of vengeful spirits and supernatural omens. The more the people looked at the gray surface, the more convinced they became that they were witnessing a miracle of the dark variety. Amidst the chaos, a man named Tenali Ramakrishna arrived at the square. Known for his sharp wit and deep intellect, Tenali stepped to the edge of the hysterical crowd and simply watched. While everyone else shouted about invisible demons and cursed metal, Tenali stood in total silence. He kept his eyes locked on the dull gray surface of the nymph. He pulled the weeping sculptor aside, moving away from the noise of the crowd. Rather than discussing a curse, he asked Virabhadra to walk him through the exact recipe for the polish used to finish the metal. Virabhadra revealed a crucial detail. To give the gold that incredible luster, he had rubbed the entire statue down with a custom mixture of sweet fruit syrups. Tenali now had a physical lead to investigate. If the statue's shine was actually a layer of sugar, he began to suspect that the magic was something that could be seen and touched, rather than something whispered in a spell. To test his theory, Tenali returned to the square alone that night. He hid in the deep shadows of the empty market and waited in the dark to see what would happen under the moonlight. Around midnight, the empty air above the square began to hum. Thousands of tiny, glowing nocturnal insects descended from the sky, swarming directly toward the nymph. This diagram illustrates the biological mechanism at work here. The thick syrup polish was emitting strong scent waves into the night air, acting as a beacon for hungry insects from the surrounding area. The insects were using the statue as a source of food. By eating the sweet polish off the metal, they left behind a thick gray residue in their wake, a layer of waste that completely blocked the gold's natural shine. There was no dark magic, and there was no curse. The gray shadow was simply the result of a hungry swarm reacting to a sculptor's sweet recipe. The next morning, Tenali met with Virabhadra. He explained exactly what the local insect population had been doing to his masterpiece while the city slept. Tenali laid out a straightforward fix. First, wash the residue off the gold. Second, apply a brand new polish that relied on natural oils instead of fragrant syrups. To guarantee the bugs wouldn't return, Tenali added a secondary barrier. Every evening at sunset, the town guards would drape a very fine net over the statue to physically block any lingering insects from reaching the surface. With the physical root of the problem finally identified, the fix required no magic, just a bit of cloth and a change in ingredients. The following dawn, the guards pulled away the fine netting. The celestial nymph stood there, shining brilliantly in the morning sun, completely restored. The crowd erupted in celebration. Virabhadra wept with relief, and the city's panic vanished, realizing how easily Tenali's clear thinking had solved the mystery. No matter how frightening or entirely inexplicable a problem appears on the surface, keeping a calm head, observing the physical evidence, and relying on basic common sense will always lead you to the truth.